Up with y'all about this. Um, I wasn't sure I was gonna do this, but my boy Dizaster wound up releasing a statement. So I figure, here we go. Let's chop game. Hey, my dog China Mac in the building. Happy New Year to all of y'all. Much love. Um, so yeah, really going all the way back to the beginning. I'll discuss the history briefly. I know y'all know about Grind Time. In 2008, my boy Direct started a battle rap league. Most people didn't think it was a good idea. A lot of people kind of rolled their eyes at it, including myself initially. When I first heard it, I didn't think it was going to be anything. And with Matt Ills wind up launching this platform that I myself got involved in a few months later and brought to the West Coast and beyond, and became one of the most important battle rap movements in history, launched the careers of a lot of people, a lot of the people which wound up shaping the face of battle rap culture for several years. We had no idea how big it was going to get. We had no idea how to run a business. The only thing I had ever really done previous to that was like selling dope. That's all I had done my whole life. It was just like hustling. I didn't know anything about forming an actual LLC, running a business, nothing like that. And when that wound up happening, we were all young. We're all in our 20s. I don't believe there is a college degree between the three of us. It was way, we're at like the helm of this league. That's a whole company that thousands of people are eating off of, and there's divisions in over 20 cities and multiple countries, and it was like too much for us, and wound up being, for all intents and purposes, defunct in 2012. Matt Ills wound up still doing it and keeping it alive, but it wasn't the same as it was, and all the people that were involved wound up going in different directions and things like that. I wound up working with King of the Dot for several years, which was really dope. And in 2020, February 2nd of 2020, I went to treatment. And, a lot of people know that I've had a pretty publicly known crippling drug addiction and alcoholism, which greatly inhibited my potential for success. And anything that I was able to achieve was kind of by happenstance and the grace of God, considering I really didn't, I didn't have full control of my mental faculties in any way, shape, or form. And when I went away to treatment, I wasn't really tripping on battle rap anymore at all. I wanted to just get my life together. I wanted being completely isolated in a treatment center for 4 months. This is when the pandemic got set off. And at that same time, I also, was like really trying to make another push with the music. Just to explain something, rapping and making music has always been my passion. I never had any illusions of being, maybe at one point when I was younger, I thought like, oh, okay, I'm going to be like a rap star. But that's never been why I did it. And I've always, as much as I love music and I'll never stop making music, I'm going to get into the King Crooked and Diz thing. We're going to talk about all that. The only reason, like more than making music, my biggest passion and what's brought me the most joy of anything is just being a contributor to the culture and helping other people reach a certain level of success, and helping other people that I believe are talented, voices that deserve to be heard, that for whatever reason weren't able to get to the masses, being a facilitator to helping those people reach success. That's always been, my dog E-Money in the building, that's always been my greatest source of happiness when it comes to anything in life, really. But at that time, I was kind of like over battle rap. I wasn't really sure what was going to go on and all that shit with the culture. I get out after 4 months, and everything had changed. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, and the entire landscape of battle rap culture seemed completely foreign to me. I was like, I don't know if I have a place in this scene that I helped bring to fruition from the inception of this era. I was like, oh, I think I'm like, it's time to like gracefully bow out. Like, I know in the history books, fuck a footnote, I might have a few paragraphs or damn near even a few pages. If I'm lucky, I might even have a chapter. But, you know, like my contribution has reached its apex and I no longer am needed anymore. That's literally what I was thinking. Around that time, though, Organic was hitting me up a lot. And, you know, he was actively involved when I was in treatment, reaching out to my fiance at the time and trying to figure out, like, what was going on with me. And when I got out, we started talking. And within, like, a few weeks, the opportunity had come with King of the Dot and Twitch. And Twitch had offered King of the Dot. King of the Dot negotiated a deal with Twitch for like over $100K to do a $50,000 Grand Prix. And Organic asked me to help facilitate it, in particular the West Coast division, and gave me the opportunity to do that. Now, I was kind of like, at this point in my life, I wasn't tripping on battle rap anymore. In fact, I was kind of like over it and didn't want to be involved at all. Look at these dogs. I was completely content just living a simple, humble life. I was thinking maybe I'll get a job at a treatment center or something, try to help other people that are going through the same thing that I just went through, because I know I can't keep what I got without giving it away. So I was kind of like, Popsy, I'm not going to fucking keep petting you. I don't want to pet you anymore. Get the fuck away. And that's like where I was like, I don't need battle rap anymore. I don't need this in my life. It's actually caused me a lot of pain, financial stress. Any significant relationship I've had have been compromised in one way, shape, or form by battle rap. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't need this anymore. But the opportunity to work on this Grand Prix was kind of exciting. And again, the passion of being able to help platform people that I believe in and give a lot of people that I fuck with an opportunity to earn a nice bag, 50 racks, you know. People like my boy Saint, Marv One, you know, Dizaster, a bunch of people that I fuck with. Like, all right, Thesaurus, let me help create this opportunity. And I did. There's a lot of people over the years that I had promised I would give a shot to if I got a chance. And if there's an opportunity, I would put them in position. Fools, because I've been hosting rap battles in every single league across the country, across the world. There's so many people that the masses are not aware of that are so talented. I'm like, let me try to give a look to some of these guys. So I was like, all right, people like Gage, people like Reggie P in Atlanta. There's people like Dub the Phenom. Like, let me get some of these dudes put on. So for the Grand Prix, I was able to get Gage put on and a few other people. And it went really well. It was an incredible experience. Saint, who's a dude that I've been working with since he was 15 years old, seeing him overcome insurmountable odds and win 50 racks and have a life-changing bag out of battle rap, which has been his passion for so long, that was a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. And, you know, Marv one of the most talented dudes ever, who's always deserved that look, for him to get a chance to compete in the finals for that too. Like, all that shit is dope. All that shit was really, really dope. So I had that opportunity. It went well. And then on the heels of that, Twitch offers another bag for King of the Dot to do an entire season. But before that, and here's where this is like the part of the story that people don't know. I know I've said a bunch of things that people already know about, right? If you know, you know. Let me explain some shit that y'all don't know about, okay? I know a lot of y'all are not into battle rap here, but this is for the battle rap heads. But it's still an interesting story, and it's like, I wouldn't have been in the position I am with No Jumper if it wasn't for this shit. So y'all might want to, if you fuck with me on the No Jumper platform, this will be interesting to you as well. So after the Grand Prix, my boy Dizaster was feeling very, very defeated. He didn't like the way things transpired. And it was kind of I don't want to say pressure, but my encouragement to get him to even join the King of the Dot Grand Prix. He was, Dizaster is a dude who's one of the most popular, important, influential, powerful, and talented battle rappers in history, who, for whatever reason, often gets left out of certain conversations that people intrinsically know he deserves to be a part of. He deserves to be getting the $50,000, $100,000 bags every time he battles, like the Mooks and the Luxes. He deserves to be in those spaces. And when he is, it's justified. And when he's not, there's a problem. So him even entering this tournament for a chance to compete at $50,000 was him really stepping outside of his comfort zone and what he wanted or should be doing. Now, previous to that, me and Diz and I had a bad falling out before I went to treatment, and my drug addiction and lies and just issues kind of pushed a lot of my close friends away that didn't want to see me deteriorate and completely self-destruct, and he was one of them. So Diz wound up not fucking with me before I went to treatment. He blocked me on social media, just completely removed me from his life. Now, when I got clean after a few months, he wound up reaching out and we wound up reconciling, and he pretty much put the fire under my ass paws and was like, yo, do you know who you are? The same things I said about him, he was saying about me as far as a facilitator and organizer of battle rap culture. And he was really, really pushing me to get back involved, and was like, you need this, or the game needs you, the West Coast needs you, it's not the same without you, none of these people would be in the position if it wasn't for you. He's telling me all this shit. And Dizaster, if y'all don't know, he used to be a used car salesman, and that motherfucker could sell a ketchup popsicle to a man in white gloves in the summertime in Cleveland. That motherfucker is a gamer. He sold it to me, gave me a Vince Lombardi speech to make me want to really push for this. Now, after he wound up losing, and the whole situation was kind of fucked up for him in that Grand Prix. And he was he went from feeling really defeated to motivated. And he's like, you know what? I know what I need to do. We need our own platform. You need to be at the helm of it. We need another chance. You're new and improved and reinvigorated because you're sober. I have trust in you. The people have trust in you. Anything that transpired in the past isn't important anymore. We're going to make this happen. And I was like, all right, it sounds good. At the time, I'm working for King of the Dot, and that's all I'm really focused on. But he made sure that this was going to happen. And so the first thing we started to do was talk to people. And I've always had an ability. You put me in front of people with money, and I'm able to get them to commit financially to situations if it makes sense. I've definitely gotten several big bags this way for battle rap culture and beyond. And this was no exception. And we started talking to people with money, got led down some crazy paths. I'm not going to get into the full stories, and I'm not going to be using names in the situations of a lot of people involved, because I'm not here to put anyone on blast, embarrass anybody, slander anyone's names, or compromise any potential business that they have or we might do together. But I'll just say that we were led to some very dark pastures, including we had people lying, saying they were going to give us fucking $50 million. We had somebody say they were going to give us $50 million. Now, maybe we were naive for even believing it, but the person that was telling us this is worth $500 million and is involved in several endeavors of this nature. And even if even if he doesn't come on for 40 million, maybe we'll be able to get a few million out of it and get this shit going, right? So we wound up at a meeting in at the, what's it called, the Green something hotel in Henderson, Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas. Green Valley Ranch Hotel, in the nicest suite they have, a $10,000 a night suite. It might as well come with a blowjob from Lindsay Lohan. It's the craziest hotel suite I've ever been in my life. That shit looked like, you feel me, James Bond has orgies in that motherfucker. It was like so fly. And we're supposed to be doing a presentation. Floyd Mayweather's gonna be there. All these major influencers like fucking Ty Lopez and all these other like big YouTube personalities supposed to be there. It winds up, long story short, I'm not going to get into all the details. It wound up essentially not coming to fruition, and we were misled. And at that point, I felt really, really defeated, because even to get to that point, we put in hella work. And there's other people like Marissa Urbano was putting in hella work. So many people were coming together to try to make this shit happen. And it was frustrating. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep doing my thing with King of the Dot. And, which was a great opportunity, and a company with people that I have a great deal of admiration for. And, I consider family. So let's just keep doing this. We got this season coming up. I'm going to do it. And, this idea, we're just going to put on the back burner. I put it on the back burner, but Dizaster didn't. And he kept pushing for it and kept pushing and trying to make things happen. Nothing was happening. We took several meetings. We had meetings with major television production companies, like all these different investors. Nothing was coming to fruition. I'm just like sick of it. I'm flying myself out to LA several times. No, I'm not using names of the people that actually were involved and saying they were going to commit financially. I'm not going to do that at all. Like, any name that I've mentioned is inconsequential to the actual story, and just kind of I'm using to illustrate a point. There's a lot of names I could have fucking said by now. And I'll tell you this, the King Crooked battle and pushing for that was a part of this whole thing from its inception. That's something that we've been talking about since 2020. At this point now, it's 2021, mid-year, like summer 2021. The King of the Dot season is in full swing. I'm literally on a plane every other week. Now, the pandemic was crazy, right? Or like 2020 to 2021. A lot of people are confined to their rooms, not leaving their crib, all this shit. I literally hopped on more planes and I've traveled my entire life. I was on more planes in 2020 and 21 than I ever was in my entire life. Every other week, I'm flying to Detroit, Jersey, Atlanta, back to LA, Vegas, all these other cities, hosting and facilitating battles all over the place, back and forth to Philly all the time. So, and it was a really dope experience, but I wasn't really tripping on this endeavor. Now, Dizaster winds up being struck by inspiration. He's like, what we need to do in order to make this work, let's bring back grind time. Now you understand why I was talking about it earlier. Let's bring back grind time. Let's bring back that feeling. We don't have anything of our own. King of the Dot is amazing, but that'll never be, that's a Canadian company. It'll never be truly ours and for us. It's on a different level, and it doesn't make, like, it doesn't have the same feeling. And, I wasn't really tripping. I kept pushing the line for King of the Dot regardless, but Dizaster wanted to bring back grind time. This motherfucker goes, pays a lawyer, purchases an LLC, puts that shit in my name, puts an LLC in my name. So I'm now the owner of this company, technically. I'm like, fuck, now I'm gonna have to pay taxes for this shit. What the fuck? Like, it was, like, but I didn't want to, and I still didn't fully believe in it, but I didn't want to shut down Diz's idea and his passion, and he was so excited about it, and he's trying to really push the line for me and believing in me when nobody else was. So I was like, you know what? All right, fuck it, right? But I'm still not fully sold, and I don't know how this is going to come to fruition because in order to do this, it's going to take a lot of money. And I'm saying, like, if not millions of dollars, well into the six figures. Now, at this time, I have another business, which I still have, called Snow Cone Records with Marissa Urbano and John Urbano. And we have, it's a record label and a one-stop shop independent resource, a resource center for independent artists. So we had, at the time, we had major distribution through Sony Orchard. And our rep for Sony Orchard, I was really close with. I'm still cool with him. He winds up introducing me to this guy. Now, this is, I want to say, like September 2021. The crypto market is like literally to the moon at this point. By November, late November, Bitcoin reached $69,000 to one Bitcoin. Now it's like less than 20. It's like $17,000, right? Just to keep things in perspective. And me dropping that little nugget right there, you're going to see that's kind of a clue as to what happened and why things transpired the way they did. This dude, so the dude from Sony winds up, I hosted some battles it was like makeup battles for the King of the Dot S1 at his studio, at his office. Because I think it was Newborn and Jay Murder. It was like, yeah, Born and Jay Murder. And their battle had to get rescheduled. So we were doing a makeup battle in South Jersey at this spot. So we're at the spot, host the battle. It's done. Getting ready to leave. Hop in the lac, about to shmeb off. As I'm dipping, he runs out. He's like, yo, I got someone that wants to talk to you. He owns an NFT company. This guy owns a bunch of music royalties, and he's creating NFTs with this catalog, and he's interested in battle rap. He wants to talk to you. So I get on the phone with him. Yup, exactly. Excel is here right now. Him and Show Off was supposed to be at that same thing. It was that day. Excel, it was that fucking day. So I get on the phone with this guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm really interested in putting up money for battle rap. And I hear you're the man. I've done some research and looked you up. I'm really interested in, let's sit down and have a meeting. And I'm like, all right, for sure. I'm not really thinking much of it. But then it pops in my head what Dizaster has been trying to do. I was like, shit, this might be an avenue. I'm still not completely sold. I don't know this guy from a can of paint at this point either. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see what he's talking about. He happens to be located in Southern Cali. When I go back to LA, like a few weeks later, and I'm going out to LA at that time to host some battles and do a bunch of work out there. I wind up renting, I got a hotel. It was only for like a week and a half. I get like a hotel for a week out there. I go, wound up, me and Dizaster meet up with this guy, sit down with him at this super lavish brunch spot in Santa Monica. At the time, I was staying down like closer to Playa del Rey, Westchester. And I was like, I thought the dude was bougie. I would have taken him to like somewhere in the hood and we could have just chopped it up there. But I'm trying to impress this guy. So we go to Santa Monica. When I meet him, I'm like, oh, he's down to earth. Okay, he's from Long Beach. He's from the hood. This could have gone differently, but whatever. We sit down, chop it up. And that same day, we crack a deal. I'm not going to tell you for how much it is, but this dude commits to a percentage of our company for an unspecified amount of money. I'm not going to say, but it was six figures. Well into six figures. Shouts to my boy Julio. If it wasn't for him, this shit wouldn't be happening. I'm going to get more into Julio's contributions later. There's so many people that were involved in making this come to fruition. So I don't want to take away anything from any of them. They deserve the acknowledgement. What's up, Flossie? So I wind up, I take this meeting, right? Goes well. I can't believe it. At the time, Diz had rented a slingshot. You know those like tiny little cars? They look like go-karts. and we're mobbing in a slingshot, and we just cracked this 6-figure deal to bring this vision to life. And I was like, yo, I put on Nipsey Hussle, Keys to the City, the original version, and I was like, I just felt like we're doing something. I felt like we're back. We have a potential to make this dream come to fruition again. Yeah, I'm talking about the Dizaster versus Crooked Eye thing. You got to be patient, though, bruh. You got to be patient. I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking down all the motherfucking details. So, go back to Philly, then go back to L.A. I wound up renting a spot in L.A. in Hawthorne for like a month and a half. And during that time, I solidify all the details, get the lawyer, draft up the paperwork. Boom, we get the paperwork signed. They've committed to this 6-figure investment into our company. We're getting ready to launch. At that same time, I had another investor come on board for our first event. Now, this investor also is giving us a 6-figure investment. Boom, we're like killing the fucking game right now. We have access to a lot of money. We have the relationships with the entire battle rap scene. Everyone's hungry for grind time to return. Let's fucking make it happen. We wind up procuring the rights that we needed to and going through the proper channels to get grind time, to make GTX and grind time essentially the same entity, right? Everything's on fucking point at this point. Like, it's like, I can't believe, like, this is the promises of recovery and sobriety. God is working through me. Now, I will say at this time, this is the beginning of me taking my foot off the gas with my recovery. Now, I never relapsed, but a lot of the things that I had worked for since getting clean wound up being compromised as a result. So I was like, okay. But so it was, I wish I would have just doubled up on the recovery because things probably would have transpired a lot differently. Within a couple months, we launched the company. We've got a dream team of everybody, Direct, Poison Pen, Melody, Julio, Marissa. Like, we have this crazy team. Everyone's coming on board. Beast Gatlin, everyone's working with us. We're going to, we have Kyle Gray, Avocado, doing all the filming and editing. We wound up having No Jumper become our media partners and wound up getting a podcast on No Jumper. So that's how the No Jumper thing started. It was through Dizaster. Prior to that, I've been trying to get a podcast cracking with No Jumper, trying to bring battle rap to that platform. Even though I knew that I had way more to contribute to No Jumper than just battle rap, I knew that was my only chance of getting on there, and they wouldn't have fucked with me. They're like not going to hire, in their eyes, like just like a regular white dude. What could I really possibly bring to table at No Jumper? It doesn't make sense. Like this older white dude, nah, like I'm never going to get on there. But they had already interviewed Dizaster, and that interview had already done over 1 million views. Adam was like fucking with battle rap. He went to the Drake URL event. Like, he interviewed Geechee Gotti. He had interviewed Daylight. Like, okay, they're interested in battle rap. That could be the angle. Their relationship with Diz is what solidified our podcast over there, right? So we started doing the podcast. We launched GTX. It's an insane rollout. Everybody's incredibly excited. Our first event is with, Dizaster's battling Assassino. We wound up going to great lengths to procure an O1 visa, which is a very difficult thing to do for Assassino. All these people came together to make this happen. Now, everything's going well. Now, I'll say, with our investor, initially, they were supposed to give us a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time. Instead of doing that, they were rationing the money out slower. I was not tripping on that because I had trust in them. And I shouldn't have allowed that to happen in retrospect. That was a big mistake that I made right there. And I'll take accountability. But I was trusting the process, and I had trust in them. And we both shared this vision of bringing mechanical royalties to battle rappers, so battle rappers could have ownership of their content and residual income from their content, which is something that never, ever happened in battle rap history. I was like, okay, this is going to affect a lot of people's lives. We share a vision. We have trust in each other. Even though like the money's not coming the way it's supposed to, we still have enough to get the company operational. We gonna do it. And they were continuing to deposit funds. Our other investor had already given the money for the event. That winds up, so we're good. We give people, everyone that was on the Prelude card got an incredible paycheck. They all were paid their rate or higher. Everyone that was hired as far as staff, as far as the people doing the commentary, the tech crew, the directors, we put money in a lot of people's hands. Anyone from the people doing security, the door, the taco lady, everybody was getting taken care of, right? The event went up. It was amazing. Well, Dizaster versus Assassino, after, we secured a situation with Red Bull. Like, we're just cracking deals left and right. Dizaster and Assassino is now just shy of 2 million views. It's actually the most viewed battle on YouTube of all of 2022. So that's an accomplishment. We have crazy momentum. Everything's going great. We have Bree launch our online platform. Shouts to my niece, Bree. We start doing Twitter space battles. Everything's fucking going crazy, right? On the heels of that, we're like, what's next? What are we going to do next? We're already planning for our next event. Now, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of the finances, but I will tell you this, that right after we announced the King Crooked battle at that press conference in May. Now, this is the part of the story. If you know, you know. This is the part of the story that people don't know. And this is what I was going through. This is one of the reasons why I was driven to a really dark place, and to the point where I needed to go back to a spiritual retreat and treatment because I was feeling suicidal. It wasn't just the result of interpersonal relationships falling apart. It wasn't just the result of my mom's diagnosis with Alzheimer's. It was this, and it started in May, right after literally like 2 days after we did that announcement for King, and we had this lavish press conference that we spent all like $30,000, $40,000 on, and invited everybody to have a crazy, 3-course meal for free and open bar, and like this whole thing that we wanted to do to let people know how much we were trying to level up the culture and things like that. Within a few days, the crypto market crashes. Now, our investors, the majority of their assets are in cryptocurrency. Like I said, they're an NFT company. The NFT market is tanking. The crypto market is tanking. Bitcoin, like I said, went from $69,000 to $17,000. Our investor wasn't able to continue to give us liquidity. Now, at that point, our first event was really successful and we had made money off of it and we were in the green. But we're spending money at that point on a bunch of other things, operating under the assumption that we have, well into 6 figures still coming to us. A lot of their assets were in this thing called Celsius. I don't know if y'all know what Celsius is. It's a cryptocurrency bank where people could literally park their crypto. Now, imagine one day, I don't know if you bank with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, whatever. Let's say you go to Chase and you go to you put your card in the ATM, you try to take out $260, whatever, and it says, due to volatility in the economy, a message pops up on your screen. Due to volatility in the economy, we are filing for bankruptcy and no longer able to honor any deposits or any withdrawals. And you just can't get your money out. And you're just fucked. Of course am I still with no jumper? What the fuck? Got no jumper tatted on my dick. The fuck are you saying? So I was like, fuck. That happened to them with this company called Celsius that declared bankruptcy. And it wasn't just like they had over $1 million. The majority of all their assets. The majority of all their assets were there, which trickled down to us. So here it is. It's June. We're supposed to have our next event in August. We've already been talking to a bunch of battle rappers. We already have contracts out. Originally, Ouroboros was supposed to be a 2-day event. Mind you, there's like the battles that we did get going, there were supposed to be twice as many. And let me tell you, if we had pulled that off and done all those battles from those 2 cards, it would have been... Yeah, I hope y'all are screen recording this shit. This would have been the best battle rap event in several years. It was amazing, the card that we had. It was all within budget. Everything was straight. Now we get word that we don't have the finances. And we're getting somewhat led astray because at this point, we're still being fed false hope by our investors. Like, okay, the money's going to come in. The money's going to come in. But I learned this back in 2014 with the whole Ether fiasco. I'm not committing to anything financial in battle rap or otherwise unless the money is literally in my account, in our business account, and we have access to it. Until then, I'm not making promises to anybody. Now, we had already been talking to people, and I was like, because I was so sure that we had this money coming in. So sure. So we start to panic. Marissa makes a really good suggestion of like, hey, we could do a modified, much smaller version of the card for this amount of money. But Diz and I, we should have listened to her. She was 100% right. Diz and I were like, we need to go make a big splash because we've set the standards so high already and people have crazy expectations. We can't go down. You know what I mean? We have to keep the momentum going. So I was like, all right, but what I'm not going to do is have another Ether fiasco where a bunch of battle rappers don't get the money they're owed and I have to spend months scrambling to earn money to give them and fucking wind up going to the streets and doing a bunch of shit that compromises my moral compass. Because at this point, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm square. I'm out the game. I don't sell dope. I don't do anything illegal. I'm not hitting no type of licks. I'm not involved in any of that shit. So that's not an option. And the money that we needed, because we needed at least $100K, if not more, to do this event. And the money that was required, if I did want to make that out the streets, I'm way too high profile to even try to do that. Because I'm for sure going to get caught up or trying if I'm lucky enough to make it happen. So it's like, that's not an option. I don't know what the fuck to do. Our investor is not coming through. Our other investor was upset for other reasons because money from our main investor was supposed to go to them. That never happened. So it's like everything is kind of falling by the wayside at this point. Yeah, I was literally like, just if I wanted to have some bitches on Fig, that shit, they would have to literally, I would have to have fucking be selling Tiana Trump blowjobs from these hoes in order to earn the money that was needed. Like, that shit ain't even cracking, fool. There ain't enough fucking pumps at the beauty supply store for any of these hoes to earn that much money. It's not fucking happening, right? So what I did wind up doing is busting some moves, procuring some sponsors, and taking out high interest, predatory loans on the strength of our business credit that put us at an incredible risk. But I wasn't going to not have the battle rappers that are owed money that we've committed to not get paid. That's not going to happen. Not on my watch. Not after everything I've been through. Now, at this time, I'm losing my fucking mind. My personal relationships are deteriorating. I'm like hitting this crazy depression. The show on No Jumper at this time, me and Diz's podcast, it was doing all right, but not really. Like, compared to what the expectations were, like, I've seen shows on No Jumper get canceled for less. And I didn't think that our podcast was going to get canceled. I knew it was. And it had always been my dream to be involved in media and things like that. On this high level, and No Jumper's been like a dream platform for me. People have wanted to see me on that for so long, and I wanted to do it for so long, and I just kind of saw it like going away, you know, like slipping through my fingertips, through my ski fingers, and I never had the opportunity. I never had the opportunity to fully focus on that show because I'm running this company. It's not just a battle league. It's a whole fucking. We're literally like a tech company at this point because of the intricacies of what we're doing with royalties and things like that, and the NFT aspect of it all. We're like, all right. So I wind up taking out these loans. We do the event. Now, the event goes down. The fact that we pulled that off, where we pulled it off, over there on motherfucking 76th in Vermont, right in the middle of the hood, where there's two gangs that are at war at that time. I literally have to sit down with members of 3 different gangs, and nobody even know. I had to sit down with high, like, you know, bosses from 3 different gangs to even get sanctioned to do that event. And we didn't pay no taxes, nothing like that. It wasn't anything like that. But just based on interpersonal relationships with people that I have, we were able to get that event sanctioned and protected. And there's homies that are battle rappers that were going there and like that are gang affiliated that were holding it down too. But they didn't even know that I had already gone like above, not above their head, but just directly to the source of the people that I needed to talk to ensure that everybody was safe. Okay? Like, people didn't know I had already sat down with them. I'm just gonna say shouts to Rico. Shouts to Rico. If you know, you know. Shouts to Rico. Alright? That's all I'm gonna say. If you really tapped in to the neighborhood we was in over there, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. Alright? No, that's not true. Said, no, our company with Dizaster did not go bankrupt, and it was not funded with NFTs. The company that funded us was a company that owns extensive catalogs of artists and has royalties from those artists that they were turning into NFTs and creating new revenue streams from the royalties that they already own and offering ownership stake in those royalties. That's what they are. They're not an NFT company, but they had the majority of their assets in crypto and were trying to make a play in the NFT market. That's what it is. And GTX is not bankrupt. And he said, I'm the Jewish AD with the beard. I'm not fucking Jewish, bro. Suck my dick, motherfucker. Do you see this? I'm not fucking Jewish, bro. Jesus Christ, this guy's Jewish. All right? Now, with that being said, what happened, like, the event, I felt like a lot of people that we were working with weren't really grateful, and they were just out for a paycheck and didn't really care about us and the huge amount of sacrifices that essentially, like, ruined my life to a large degree. This event, like, destroyed everything that I've been building on an interpersonal level and anything. And, like, and people just were, and I get it, you know? Battlers are out for themselves. They deserve a paycheck. Like, not just battlers, a lot of people that were involved. And I felt like we just kind of got disregarded and shitted on in certain ways that left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, damn, why am I even wanting to do this? I literally took out 3 predatory loans that put me like $100,000. At the time, I was $100,000. Again, $100,000 in debt by battle rap. This is not the first time I've been in this situation, but now it's, instead of being on some like other shit, like I'm $100,000 in debt. My company is through loan companies, right? But what I made sure of, and I went to great lengths, was that everybody in the culture got taken care of. I literally was fucking selling the fucking chains off my neck, selling my watch, doing whatever I could. And not only me, But fucking Julio took out 2 personal loans for, it was like 15 or 20 grand. Julio came up with 2 loans. If it wasn't for all this shit, we wouldn't have been able to make this event happen. And we got everybody paid, everybody taken care of, put in nice hotels, flown out. Everyone got the bags that they deserved. And I could sleep at night knowing that we did right by the culture at the end of the day. The fact that that shit affected me and I had to take that L, that's you pay the cost to be the boss. And being a boss, whatever, is not always glamorous. And you have to take the repercussions of what comes with that as well. And that's what the fuck happened. That is what I had to deal with. So that was on my shoulders. And of course, I'm not going to let my boy Julio take that $20,000 loss. I'm going to fucking take care of him. Shouts to my boy Marv. Like he said, no issues with GTX. We took care of everybody. You got 10 million. I will fucking never listen to rap music again. How about that? Shouts to Manny Draper, my dog. I was like, Grand Nash in the building, wolf shit. But then, at that point, I'm like, okay, we did this event. I don't feel like there's any gratitude for it. The fans are so fickle in battle rap culture. They're gonna bootleg shit. They're not gonna give a fuck. They're gonna talk down about it. Like anything that they can find, any discrepancy. I feel like the odds have always been stacked against us. They've always been stacked against Diz. They've always been stacked against Grind Time. You know, like maybe came off too cocky. Maybe I came off too flamboyant. But whatever I've done in the beginning that have pushed people to feel some type of way about me, it's been a huge like mountain for me to climb up to even get back to the point where, you know, I'm at homeostasis again. So it's like, is it fucking worth it? And now I'm in this insane debt. We're not getting, like, we keep talking to our investors and they're not coming with shit. They're low key capping, but they're also like in ruin themselves. So I can't really hold them accountable. It's really unfortunate what they're going through, but they're not taking this L with me. I'm taking this fucking L. And then, of course, we have the King Crooked battle, which has already been paid for partially, but it wasn't fully paid for. So now I need to come up with this $100,000 to get out of debt, which I've been doing and working my ass off to climb out of that debt. But then we need to come up with the rest of the money for that event as well. Then, coincidentally, at that same time, No Jumper winds up popping off for me. And I wind up getting utilized more, put on more shows. They fucking with me. I'm getting love from some of the fans. Like, it's going up. And I wind up getting a full-time position over there. So it's like, do I focus on this new venture, which is bringing me more fulfillment, happiness, keeping me alive at a point where I was literally feeling suicidal? Like all those, look at my timeline, you'll see all the, like, me talking about it. The day before I was brought on to the main No Jumper show, I was literally leaving a spiritual retreat because I wanted to kill myself. And it got that fucking dark for me. And I'm glad that I thugged it out and held on, for whatever reason, you know, that God provided this opportunity for me. So it's like, do I continue to do this? Or do I go back to trying to make this battle rap shit work when it's like tainted and it's brought me nothing but misery? And through my passion for battle rap, I lost the most important relationship in my life and everything else that meant anything to me. Like, what does it matter? You feel me? Like, why am I doing this shit? So, oh, hell yeah. Shouts to my dog, Baby Franco. We gonna definitely have some more music. Yeah, okay. Let's address this. Let's talk about, like, my family. First of all, My dad was a successful filmmaker back in the day. He hasn't worked in a long time, but he was successful. My family was never rich. Now, by the standards compared to most people, definitely privileged, definitely successful. I never wanted for food or water or clothes on my back. Was able to have health care. Was able to have education, all the shit that I don't take for granted. And that in and of itself is privilege, but I think people get the wrong idea. I didn't grow up in a mansion. It was never like that. I was in West LA, a few blocks away from the hood. That's like the way West LA is. There's super nice blocks, and then a few blocks away you in the hood. I was outside from the time I was 12 years old. I got arrested when I was 13, was in the juvenile system at 16, and between 16 and 19 in 10 different treatment centers. I was out the house at 17. I've been working since I was a kid and hustling since I was 12, 13 years old. So I never was the product of nepotism, never got money from my family like that. My brother, I didn't speak to for like 20 years. I love my brother. We're really close now, but we didn't speak for 20 years. And the one time we did, I actually wound up finessing him for like 20 racks. And I was in a tough situation and needed money. And I got 20 racks from him and ripped him off on some drug addict scumbag shit and never got money. Like, even as close as we are today, I would never ask him for money no matter what. And I don't even think he would give it to me. But I'm just glad that he's in my life. And it's not like that. Like, the perception that people, and this isn't like the perception of the battle rap scene. Everyone that has known me for years knows this about me. There's like this weird narrative that's been going around with these new No Jumper fans because they are new to me and they're young as fuck. So if they think that your family has money, they're like, oh, that means you're set for life. And you're going to be like, no, no one's ever thought of me like that. When people have met me, they met me straight out the hood, whether it was in LA or East Oakland. That's what people fucking know me for. So, like, that's not even, you talk to anybody, they'll be like, what the fuck is you saying? It's just these new fans that aren't privy to anything that I've gone through or the actual intricacies of my life. Ask any of my partners. I still have the same homies I grew up with. Am I a fucking, like privileged or rich like that? I don't know what the fuck y'all think. There ain't nobody that fucking knows me that's ever gonna say that, because it's not accurate. You feel me? Like, it's not accurate. So yeah, there is no fucking rich relatives to bail me out of this situation. It's not like that. My mom is sick. All of my family's money is going to fucking keeping my mom getting her proper care for her Alzheimer's. I'm helping out with that situation financially and however I have to, and giving her rides to fucking doctors right before I go to No Jumper. And people wonder why I'm fucking emotional or like react some type of way or will lean into emotion on as far as the No Jumper Reddit, I started going on the No Jumper Reddit because there was fans of mine over there, and that was the only thing, like the positive shit that people would say on Reddit and YouTube comments and in my Instagram was the only thing keeping me alive. Now, I got way too deep into it, and I realized, like, you don't see me talking back to fans. I never get into back and forth interactions with fans, with colleagues. I don't do that. But I kind of regressed a little bit throughout this whole scenario, and just this intense depression and dark period I was going through kind of made me act a little out of character. I'm going back and forth with fans on the Reddit. These are fucking 17-year-old kids probably. And I'm defending myself and justifying myself to fucking trolls. I'm like, damn, like, I need to stop. So I'll still be on the Reddit. I'll still interact, but I'm not going to be doing it in that same way whatsoever. Now, back to this battle rap shit. I realized that if it wasn't for battle rap, and if it wasn't for all the people that I built this foundation with for years, I never would have been successful in No Jumper to begin with. That never would have happened. 667 cold shots to my boy Chef Boy Bones. None of that shit would have come to fruition. All right? So I am not going to allow that shit to die. I'm not going to allow my brother Dizaster's vision and all the people's hard work, from Julio to, of course, Marissa, who was like literally like did everything from conceptualize the business model and business plan to put together the original documents that launched the company. Marissa did everything, to Bree, to Melody, to, you know what I mean? To everybody to Beast, to everybody that believed in this shit. And we're rocking with us, of course, you know, like I always love Direct and Poison Pen and all them. So if it wasn't for these, like, I'm not going to let this go to the wayside. And all the battlers that deserve a good look. So wound up talking to sponsors again, starting to chip away at this debt, getting more money. Even though our main event investor cooped out, we going to make this Crooked Eye thing happen. Now, it would have already been, would have had a date announced, but unfortunately, Dizaster tore his ACL. So we going to get, as soon as his health is back in order, mid 2023, we're going to get that battle popping. On top of that, we're using No Jumper on a trial basis now to distribute some of the remaining battles from the Ouroboros card. I'm glad we held on to that content. We're going to be dropping it on No Jumper, trying to cross-pollinate these audiences, see where it goes. The first release will be Passwords versus B Magic. We have A-Ward versus Kitchen Clean, and 2 other battles. So we'll see. If the first 2 do well on No Jumper, they'll all wind up dropping on No Jumper. We have a lot of other things in conjunction with No Jumper that we're doing in Battle Rap as well. And if not, we still have the GTX channel as well. So, we have a whole bunch of shit that we got popping off, and it's very exciting, and I'm very happy about it. We are back. We are not done. We are not letting anything defeat us. No matter what, no weapon, no bitch-ass, mark-ass, suck-ass weapon formed against us shall prosper, no matter how it's formed or none of that shit, period. Just know that we coming in 2023, this is the Jordan year, so we stepping harder than ever, and no matter what, we making shit happen. And I just wanted y'all to know what we went through. And if you thought, like, yo, why is GTX get so silent? Why did they start off the first half of the year, one of the strongest platforms? People had us in their, top 5, if not higher. People are already overlooking the fact that we had the most viewed battle of the year. We had a lot of the most successful, exciting moments in Battle Rap this year. We showcased a lot of major talent, giving them their first big look this year. All that to say, like, we're not going nowhere, but this is why the momentum got halted. We went through crippling odds that would have shut a lot of other motherfuckers down. And instead of taking the L or making the battlers took the L, we put the burden on our fucking shoulders and took the L and allowed it to really fuck up our lives to bring y'all entertainment. So I hope y'all happy. I hope y'all like it. And that is what the fuck happened. Any questions? I'm going to answer some questions. I hope y'all understand a little bit better. I wouldn't have even talked about this. I've been holding this in for months, but Dizaster released a statement yesterday. I don't know how many people saw it, but I want people to know what's going on. Of course, long live Pat Stay forever. Pat Stay forever. You feel me? Shouts to our brother Pat. We were actually going to have our own Pat Stay memorial that we were going to do, but we didn't want to take away from what the Canadians had going on. Organic and them. They deserve it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, someone wants me to speak on Suspect's dad. Now, I'll say this. What people don't understand, Project Blowed is not a battle rap crew. Project Blowed is literally a movement. It's the most important movement in West Coast hip-hop history that goes back to the early 90s. Not only, like, seminal groups like Freestyle Fellowship coming from there, but, like, everybody in Volume 10, Pistol Grip Pump on my lap at all times, shit like that. But everybody from, like, Will.i.am to... I can't even begin to name all the important, successful rappers and artists that got their start at Project Blowed that changed fucking history. So, obviously, Almighty Suspect's dad, my big bro, Rifleman L.A. Cool, was one of the OGs over there since the early 90s. We got an interview, a 4-hour interview. Me, Adam 22, and Suspect chopped it up with him about the whole history of West Coast hip-hop and beyond. And that shit is dropping soon, is an amazing interview. Adam himself said it's one of the best interviews he's ever done. I hope it gets the attention and views that it deserves. Now, AD, he didn't mean no disrespect when he was saying that. He was just in the midst of a back and forth with Almighty, and, he wound up saying the Blowed statement, which was fucked up, but he didn't know what he was saying or the gravity that held. And he was just going back and forth on some gangster shit in an argument with Suspect. Prior to that, there was, a conversation between Pun and Almighty's Pops as well. So there's like a bunch of shit that goes into it, but it's squashed now. There's mutual respect, and I definitely am doing whatever I can to educate people on not just Seminole West Coast, but just hip hop history as well, and all the people from all the elements of hip hop that there's a disconnect in generations, and I want people to know about the foundation they're standing on today, and they might find it interesting. They don't need to learn it. They don't need to respect it, but I want them to at least be aware of it. And that's why we brought some of the younger, like the last generation of the Blowed, for the people like No Can't Do, Satire, Dumbfounded, Open Mike Eagle. We've given them all interviews. We just interviewed Rifleman, and I'm gonna be bringing on Tumex and some of the other OGs as well. Maybe AC or Micah. Maybe Abru, like these people people need to hear these stories and how they affected everything that's going on, because you wouldn't see any of the shit that's going on in hip hop, especially in LA right now, if it wasn't for that. So it's an interesting piece of history. Like I said, you ain't got to respect it, but you might want to wake your game up and peep game. To me, I was always interested in that shit. When I was like 13 years old, I would read the Source magazine front to back. That shit was literally like the Bible to me. And the reason why I have so much knowledge is because I studied that shit. And that's just something I'm interested in. You ain't gotta, if you don't like it, that's all good. You ain't got to, but that's me. And I think there's a lot of people that would have a whole different outlook on the culture if they knew that stuff. So with that being said, if there's any other questions, GTX related, No Jumper related, I don't want to keep y'all all day. I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave this interview up. Or I mean this live up. If there's if y'all have been screen recording it, feel free to drop it on the tube or whatever if you want to. It's been a dope discussion. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love to see Peace, Medusa, all them on there as well. What's up, Jules? Much love. Yep. And hopefully this is informative. I know a lot of y'all might not give a fuck. Did you have a deal with Matt Ills with the purchase of GTX? No. So Matt Ills, shouts to Matt Ills, by the way. Matt Ills sold Grind Time. GTX is a separate entity from Grind Time. Matt Ills has sold Grind Time to, I'm not going to say who he sold it to, a few years ago, and then it wound up in another person's hands. We procured the rights to the Grind Time logo from another source that actually owned that logo, because it wasn't owned by the same people. So GTX is a separate organization from Grind Time, but we have rights to the Grind Time logo, image, and likeness as well. Yeah, Freestyle the Art of Rhyme is an incredible film. You're absolutely right. I just said that we are going to be dropping battles on No Jumper. The first one is Past vs. B Magic, and it's dropping soon. I would love to. There's a bunch of people in battle rap I've been talking about interviewing. I've been talking to Jazz the Rapper, Easy the Block Captain. Would love to have Lux on. Would love to have Clips on. Would love to have Arsenal on. Whenever Sue Surf comes home, would love to have Averb on. These are all people I'd love to sit down with. Thesaurus and Ilmac. It needs to happen at some point. There's so many people in battle rap culture. When Sue Surf comes home. Oh, and if y'all see, we have some huge, I got some huge interviews on No Jumper coming up. Life-changing shit that I'm very, very excited about. Shouts to my dog Phonetic. I'll be seeing y'all in Alaska in February. One of the only states I've never been to. Yep, shouts to Aqueezy. Shouts to my dog Lear Flip. Good seeing you the other day. Yeah, free the motherfucking wave till it's backwards. Don Nino, Squab. Oh, yeah, doing shit in the No Jumper. We have things that in the works in the No Jumper studio as far as artist competitions and producer competitions and a bunch of shit. What's up, Auntie? Gifted Gab in the building. Clue, my dog Conclusion. You know I got you on a verse. Mr. Draper. Come on. Oh, yeah, that No Jumper mixtape. Let me just tell y'all, man. I'm gassing motherfuckers. They think, what's up, Dirtbag Dan? Love you, dog. Need you on the platform, too. All these motherfuckers that, they think they nice or some shit. Like, yo, there's great rappers in No Jumper. But they overlooking me right now, and that's all good. But when it comes to fucking actual rapping, bars, lyrics, like, styles, come on, dude. Y'all gonna have to see if y'all don't already know. Love you too, Huli. Oh, yeah, definitely. We've been trying to chop it up with Cassidy. Cassidy is at the top of my list for people I want to interview. Of course, DMX is one of the GOATs. What the fuck? DMX. We got the same birthday. Big Sag Gang shit. Come on. With that being said, I appreciate... Come on, man. Let my son Blasey live. Come on, man. I'm jacking Blasey. Blasey fire. Quit playing. You gotta let my son Blasey live. He one of the beyond fuck rapping, bro. Dopest minds for fashion design in LA. One of the best creatives the city has. I mean, E40, what the fuck? Hell yeah. I want to sit down with E40. Are you fucking kidding? What? Bruh. Y'all speaking my language. God willing, we making all that shit happen this year. Thank you, Floss. Happy New Year's, brother. My time, bro. We had a bunch of people submitting beats for the No Jumper tape. It's going to be crazy. Have a bunch of music dropping as well. Had a video drop recently. Have a bunch more shit. Got a bunch of like LA, like turn up street shit. And then a bunch of boom bap lyrical shit too. We hitting from all angles, baby. You're not playing. Big Five, Single Gang. Love you, Bree. Definitely need Hollow on there. And with that being said, Mozzie, what's up? Carney, what's up? I'm finna sky up out this bitch if there ain't nothing else. I would bring someone else on the live, but don't really make too much sense. We just gonna keep this what it is. Like I said, if y'all want to drop it on the tube, hope this was informative and was a glimpse into the odds that we overcame and the pain that I went through. And you know what? I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of all of us for not allowing this to defeat us, for still going strong despite everyone's best efforts, like people really conspiring to fuck our shit up and the universe conspiring to fuck our shit up. And we didn't allow it to happen. And we made sure that we went to insane lengths and put ourselves at incredible risk in a legit way without going to ill-gotten means to take care of the battlers that we work with. So, all right.